I'm not really trying to become, Mr. Olympia or having the best body or being the biggest guy walking this earth. That's not my goals in life. My goals in life is being successful and, living a long time.
Rich Piana, a prominent professional bodybuilder, was struck with a sudden heart attack. He was taken to the hospital where he remained in a medical coma for 2 weeks before finally passing away on August 25th, 2017. Was it just genetics or something else? You see, Rich used many performance-enhancing drugs to augment his physique. This is the first thing the mind leaps to when a bodybuilder has a health problem. Is it the chemicals they used? Or perhaps abused? Rich himself was successfully using gear and many other crazy substances for over 20 years. He managed to reach age 45 doing this with no lethal consequences, until now. Did it finally catch up to him? Or is there more to this story?
And so, I wanted to share with you guys what I've been doing food-wise. I'm always experimenting, trying new shit. And I do it just for my curiosity to see what's going to happen. I love experimenting. I'm a big believer in finding out for yourself.
This is fairly normal for bodybuilders, forging into unknown territory to see if they can get bigger. So what did Rich do?
I've been eating rice and only rice. And I've been doing it for the first 5 meals of the day. And then the last meal, I eat protein, and I don't have any protein throughout the day. So I'm eating 5 meals. Each meal is between 1.5 and 2 cups of rice.
This diet, an all-rice diet with hints of spaghetti sauce and a single moderate protein meal, is an extremely carb-heavy and unbalanced diet. It has very little protein for someone of Rich's significant stature. In a typical non-diabetic person, a carb-heavy meal leads to an elevated blood glucose level for a little over 2 hours after consumption. They consume the food, absorb the glucose, release insulin, and blood glucose levels fall back down to normal. But Rich was eating 6 meals a day. That means he had elevated blood glucose levels for at least 12 hours of the day. 50% of the time. And that's assuming he had no insulin complications whatsoever. A slight increase in insulin insensitivity could result in the blood glucose level still being elevated by the next meal. This could mount steadily higher and higher with each meal until it's time for bed. Maybe he burned it off at night. But if he didn't, that means he spent each following day at a slowly, steadily climbing baseline. White rice is missing many important nutrients and has virtually no fat. While the carbs in white rice are complex in theory, in practice they're mostly short chains and very easily digested. It has a high glycemic index and an enormous glycemic load. In many ways, it is basically as bad as sugar, and even worse when it comes to blood sugar in particular. Now, not everyone knows this, but your blood sugar can spike higher and faster from a cup of rice than from a can of Coca-Cola. Eating a diet rich in foods like this increases your risk of heart disease more than 50%. Rich Piana might just have been spending every day for almost 2 months in an artificially induced state of hyperglycemia without even having to be a diabetic. And persistently elevated blood sugar is very damaging to the body, in particular the heart. The antioxidants in food can help protect you from this. And rice actually has a lot of them in the bran. But white rice has had the bran removed. Rich wasn't getting his medicine. And that led to...
What happened that morning, we got up, we had a photo shoot at Powerhouse, we came home, made him food. He was checking his Instagram, and he said, I want you to cut my hair.
That means what is probably only a few minutes after his meal of rice with a side of rice, his blood sugar was shooting through the roof as he absorbed all of that glucose. His blood grows thicker, the pressure increases, and his heart rate leaps up to force it through his system. And his burdened heart finally gives way. Game over, man. Game over.
I gotta say that it's working out great. It's an awesome diet. So you guys, if you're curious, give it a try.
There are some things you just don't want to learn from experience. Next time you're about to chow down on a big bowl of rice, think twice. It might cost you more than you think. Until next time, try not to die.